Hello everyone, this is Damon with PickSnub Software. In this video, I'm going to be discussing running actions during your sports photo automation batch processing as a way to enhance the customization in your batches. Now, what this is commonly used for is if you want to have an action to run with dynamic templates in order to change the colors on your templates to match the team of your players. However, this isn't the only thing you can use actions for. You can make your own actions to pretty much do anything you want to do. You could add grunge effects to your players, create sketch drawings from your players. I mean, there's really no limits to what you can use actions for. The only thing that the sports photo automation plugin is going to do is play the action. It really doesn't care what is in it. So for this example, I am going to be doing color changes in the template though, since that is the most common thing. And I'm going to be demonstrating the Orioles template. And this template, by the way, is available on the PickSnub website. And the template does come with its own set of actions. And you can, of course, create your own actions for your own templates. But this template does come with actions that are ready to go. So let me demonstrate these actions before we run sports photo automation. You can replace the font color. This is the font and flare color here. Then you can also change the background from warm or cool. That's your two choices. And every template is going to have its own set of actions for anything that's set up for dynamic templates on the PickSnub website. They're all a little bit different for what the actions do. But as far as the user is concerned, you don't really have to know too much about what's inside the actions. All you need to do is be able to know which actions you need to run for the different effects. Now, it does also come with a couple of actions in this template that run both an action from the font color and the background. It comes with a couple of examples, but you can record your own, and I show how to do that in the specific video for this Orioles template. But that way, if you want to set a combination of a font color and a background, you can do that in one action. So anyway, I'm going to be demonstrating how to run these in your batch process now. Now there's two ways to do this in sports photo automation. And the first way is in your user interface here. There's a checkbox called Run Action on Final Composition. And so what it does is after the composition is complete, so after it puts your player in the template and does any text replacement, it's then going to run the action, but it does it before it flattens the image. So you have all the layers for your action to be able to work with. So you'll just select the set and then the action that you want. And for this case, I'm going to run the Patriots action, which is a custom action I just made that runs two actions from within. Here it's going to set the font to red, and then it's going to set the background to cool. So red and blue basically. So I'm going to load some CSV data in. And CSV data is optional, but I'm going to just load it for this demonstration. And that will replace the text in the image. I'm just going to hit run batch process, and let's watch it run. All right, that's finished. So let's take a look at the composites. Okay, we can see here that it replaced the background and also the font color. In the next image, the same. But you'll notice now we've got a different color uniform, but since we ran the same action on every player, it's just ran that same action. And so this is good if you're doing one team with all the uniforms are the same color and you want to run the same action for every player. But in the case of this batch, when we had 3 different color uniforms, doing it the way I showed you, there's no way to actually change the template color per image. So you use this if you want to run the same action on every image. But for the cases where you don't, I'm going to show you here. You don't want to run it here. You can also run post actions from your CSV file. And so the header will be post action 1, post action 2, all the way up to 10. So you can run up to 10 actions and they'll run sequentially 1 through 10. Most of the time you'll just run 1, but you can run 2 or 3 or 4. And so that's why I did in this example, I'm showing an example of running 2. So before I start, I'm going to actually show you what I'm doing here. I just wanted to do this just to demonstrate. So for the post action, the first 2 is going to be, one's going to run the Patriots and one's going to run the Athletics, which both of these set the font color and the background color. But you also have the option for this 4th image here to run the action red for the font and cool background for the background color. So you can run actions individually. So I'm running the red and then for the font and then the cool background here. And that actually does the same exact thing as this Patriots action here. And the only reason I'm doing that again is just to show you the different options you have. If I was to run a real batch, I wouldn't use this post action too, but there's cases where you will want to run more. And then this 3rd image here that has nothing in the actions, if you don't need to run an action because you're just using the default setup, then you don't need to run an action because running actions is optional. So in this case, the default of the Orioles template was the Orioles colors, and so since this player's got the Orioles uniform, I'm not going to run an action on that image. So let me delete these and we'll start over. So this time I'll load the CSV that has the actions in it. And then I don't want this checkbox on. I want to uncheck that because we don't want to run this action and then the template. If you have the checkbox on and you're using a CSV that has actions, it'll run the action from the user interface here first and then run the actions in the CSV afterwards. And that may be what you want because you might have one action you know you're going to run on everything. And like for instance, if you have an action that's going to add a grunge effect to a player, perhaps you might run that here and then have your CSV to run the actions for your colors in your template. So it's pretty versatile how you want to do it, but for this demonstration, I'm only going to be using the CSV. So let's just hit run here. All right, that's finished up. So let's take a look at our images again. Okay, you see now that once it switched to the new team, it ran the appropriate actions. And then here on the Orioles, it didn't run any actions, it just used the defaults because that's what we told it to do in the CSV file. So really, really slick. The last thing I'm going to point out is regarding Pixnub text support for actions. As far as actions go, if you're creating your own actions for your own templates, that's something that I cannot support everybody on how to create their own actions. As far as support for the sports photo automation plugin goes, of course I support that plugin to the point to get it to play the actions. But if it's doing its job and playing your actions and the actions themselves have issues with how you create them, that's really beyond Pixnub text support. So just make sure you're aware of that. But if you purchase a template from Pixnub and it's already got actions that come with it, that is something I support because those are guaranteed to work, since those are actions that either I've created or a vendor that works with me have created, and we've tested those and we know for sure those are supposed to work. But as far as whatever creations you come up with, I have no idea what crazy layer structures you have in your templates or other designers have, so it's nearly impossible for me to be able to help everybody create their actions. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you can use actions in your automation.